Captain Ginyu's 5H has received some crazy buffs in the past versions of the game. First off, becoming a low invincible low attack. So after everything I've outlined that 5 heavy could already do, what could Bandai have possibly gave Ginyu to buff it even more? This, you can now cancel it into a 6M, meaning that at any given moment, as you're trying to block this attack low, he can jump over you, throw a cross up, charging it the whole time. He can, fade backwards with it. Go into Dragon Rush, usually not after he crosses over on you, like he's not going to side correct, but he could still do this into Dragon Rush. He could do this into 6M. Again, this is like a low attack, so it's actually important that you're crouch blocking this. Like, okay, like he just does this and good luck blocking. Good luck. That is all I can say. Previously, there was a bug with Guldo's 5S summon where you would summon him and he would spawn to throw the rock out, where there would be times where it wouldn't cause the time freeze effect as intended. As you can see here, when Goku is in hit stun and we do 5S, then he kind of gets paused up. But depending on like your starter and things like that, or depending on what exactly you're working with, sometimes this wouldn't work. I don't think the examples I demonstrated were actual examples of this bug. If there's a Ginyu player who can let us know in the comments some specific instances where this wouldn't work when it should have worked, please share with us that. As I've been scrolling around a little bit trying to find examples, I haven't been able to locate any of them. Now, pretty much any of those situations where the time freeze wouldn't happen when it was supposed to have happened are basically alleviated for Ginyu. This doesn't really open up some new opportunities for him, since, I demonstrate right here, since GT Goku recovers from the hit stun before Guldo comes out, then, it doesn't work in that particular case, but it should just mean that the move behaves a little more consistently overall. So hopefully there's going to be a couple of examples I've asked for in the comment section below, but there are some new applications to it due to other buffs we'll get into in a few minutes. Previously, Jeice and his Crusher Ball attack, so 5S with Ginyu, would give you about 25 frames of block stun advantage. More than enough to work with, really. Now let's take a look at the frame advantage on block that Crusher Ball gives us. 35 frames of block stun now. So again, though, you can always have the opponent guard cancel against this, so they're always capable of doing like a Z-Reflect. But it lasts a little bit longer, so it takes them, I think, a little bit more time in order to actually do this, and this will have some implications in the kit for Ginyu a little later down the line as we talk about some other special moves. The light version of Light Jersey has a couple of changes to its properties, so let's go ahead and take a look at those. Most of these have to do with how the move behaves on hit. Previously, the opponent would pretty much be launched straight backwards with very little hang time. Not only that, the move would behave pretty consistently if you use your medium auto combo to go into it, which again limited your combo opportunities. Like, for example, off of this instance, you were not able to take advantage of Guldo's time freeze to combo after Light Jersey. Now let's look at the changes to the light version of a Strong Jersey. As you can see, the opponent actually stays a little bit closer to Ginyu on hit now. So, GT Goku is getting all this space because he's teching backwards, but for those initial hits, he's kind of like right next to Ginyu, which could open up some easier time getting confirms with assists. Granted, Team Gohan might not be the one to demonstrate it with, but, perhaps, more assists are able to actually help you confirm in this instance. But more interestingly is that there's also changes to when you use this attack in his auto combo, his medium auto combo, right? So there's more stun time and there's more hit stop when you do it here. And because of that, you're actually able to reliably link a couple of his summons. A very easy one to do, actually, is with Guldo and taking advantage of that time freeze. So you're actually able to get new opportunities for combos here, and there's a bit of utility that Ginyu has now when he does this medium auto combo. So you might actually open up some new, simpler combo routes for Ginyu in the corner to help him maximize his damage even further, allowing him to link into the Ginyu force with some easier extensions due to this change with the medium auto combo for Light Jersey. Previously, the EX version of Strong Jersey was pretty balanced around the fact that it was a fast move, but, it's not projectile immune or anything like that, and so Ginyu could do this and then be -5 on block against the opponent. And that also wasn't really too good of a thing for him because he could still, cancel this into a summon of sorts, but doing this from a negative position was just a little bit riskier previously. And now probably for one of the crazier changes that is sticking in this patch, remember how I talked about this move was kind of bounced around just, maybe being a lariat? Well, it's now +10 on block, which means if Ginyu does this, he practically gets a free Ginyu Force summon for doing this move. He's able to kind of go for a call. Now, granted, as you look here, you're going to see that, I might be negative here in some of these circumstances, but -4 and safe at a distance, basically, it's Ginyu's advantage. But, going from, the ability for the opponent to sort of squirm out of some of these situations, let's make GT Goku jump, for example, right? He might have been able to jump and get completely out and avoid that Guldo call in the previous patch, but now that should pretty reliably actually catch him in some of those situations. Not to mention the fact as well, Ginyu does this, and he's just +10 in a situation where he can threaten you with, basically a 4-frame gap with another EX shoulder in this instance. So if we set GT Goku to jump, we can actually stop his jump and be even more plus in this situation. It's kind of just like head-assery that Ginyu can just sort of force his turn over and over again. Granted, this also means that if you are solo Ginyu, you do have, options to sort of force a bit of an advantage state. There's not much you can necessarily do from this positioning with a body-swapped Ginyu where you don't have a Ginyu Force that you can call. But when you have the Ginyu Force, being able to squeeze out these summons and have them be a lot more threatening and harder to escape certainly strikes me as something I don't want to fight against. Recoome's Ultra Miracle Fighting Bomber attack wasn't used too often unless you're going for a long combo setup and trying to style the opponent. His knee and his beam in particular were very strong assist calls. So the fact that, you kind of had this very slow move for you to use kind of just saw it be relegated to sort of meme material status. Granted, it does a lot of damage and things like that, but it definitely felt like a win more style of call. And I guess Bandai wants to try to encourage more usage of it with the buff that they gave it. To make Recoome Bomber more enticing to use, Recoome Bomber will actually give you meter, which I guess visually makes sense. It's about a whole bar of meter as well, so if you're able to do a combo, you basically get a free bar of meter in the middle of this, which actually increases the damage of this move by giving you more bar to dump at the end of the combo. And combined with some of the other changes we already looked at with Ginyu, it gives Ginyu a lot of potency in his combos. Courtesy of Wizard of Gore, or Remains on Twitter, Ginyu has access to one of the corniest looking 5M round start TODs that is sparkless that I've seen in the game's history. We're going to keep the clip muted since he has some banging metal music, and I don't want to actually get in trouble with YouTubes. But, a little bit of this, a little bit of burner magic. Building 2 bar just by key charging with Recoome. Unbelievable, unreal. And it's you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do jack squat. You could probably optimize this further by actually hitting the opponent, but okay. Now let's take a look at the changes to Purple Comet with Jeice. So previously there was about 25 frames of hit stun, which meant that at any given moment, the opponent would be able to escape out of the block stun of this move by guard canceling into something like Z-Reflect, Right, GT Goku started to block that, then pretty much immediately Z reflected. Or GT Goku could also go for a super dash here. So, you know, you basically were creating an RPS scramble situation of when does my opponent choose to escape out of this super? At high levels of play, the Ginyu player would just hang back and wait for you to get antsy, holding all of that Ki Blast block stun, super dash, and 2HU for it. Now things are dramatically different for Ginyu. With a hit stun, it makes it a little bit more telegraphed, actually. In fact, right there, GT Goku couldn't even guard cancel out with Z Reflect. And if we look at Super Dash, right? Like he's stuck in there. Like brother can't even like move out, and we'll even set him to just do like Super Dash, right? As a reply. So as Crusher Ball, you know, you get a little bit more time to like, you know, react and wait and see for the opponent. Purple Comet actually has real like lockdown. Like I do this, I put you in the corner, and you are stuck. You are stuck in this web that we weave. Like unbelievable, genuinely unbelievable. And just to demonstrate, I'm not full of hot air, and this has to do with like a training mode bug or the dummy not correctly doing anything like that. I went ahead and recorded Purple Comet, and you have my inputs on the left side of the screen. That is as soon as I could super dash. And that was as soon as I could reflect. Like, it's real lockdown right now. I can't believe they actually gave Ginyu that. That is terrifying, to say the least. And now, granted, you know, if you preempt any of this stuff, then, you know, you're pretty much fine, as it were. But now you need to be ahead of the curve in order for you to really threaten this RPS stuff. If Ginyu sees that you just blocked this, you know, before it makes contact with you, then he knows he could run up and approach you. So the window of time that Ginyu actually has to worry about you contesting him here is like diminished. He looks for it at the very end of the attack and at the very start, right before the attack hits you. Otherwise, you are just locked down. Like, what? All of Ginyu's assists have buffs to them, so let's go through them one by one. His A assist used to give you about 33 frames of block stun advantage. Pretty serviceable for a Lariat style assist, actually. Now, let's take a look at the new block stun. It's been increased by 5, giving Ginyu, you know, plus 38 frames of advantage to your point character. I mean, this is 2 frames below the usual, like, Lariat style of assist lockdown that gives you 40 frames of block stun. I mean, this probably opens up a lot of characters that didn't want to partner up with Ginyu before to do, like, some true mix-up stuff that would love to pair up with Ginyu's A assist now because, oh, hey, I can true string high-low you or true string left-right you. Like, that's going to be really good for those characters. His B assist basically inherits any sort of the changes that you saw to earlier moves. So, for example, the 2 Jeice changes, where there's the increased hit stop on his Purple Comet as well as on the Crusher Ball, have the increased hits done here as well. So previously, the sequence would look a little bit something like this, where if the opponent tried to, like, let's say, up back, well, then they could actually get caught because they would be able to squeeze a jump out. Not only that, you might have been able to see them do something like this, where, again, since this is a Ki Blast, they could have reflected against Guldo pretty early on. Going into Ginyu's B assist, it inherits pretty much all the changes that we've seen throughout the patch. So Purple Comet is going to give you all that true block stun and lockdown that we saw before, which is terrifying to think about it being on an assist that just gives bar. With Jeice Crusher Ball, GT Goku is set to jump up. And you can see, like, that's a true block string. Like, this call right here gives you like 50 frames of block stun to work with once the opponent blocks that Crusher Ball. And if we set GT to try and guard cancel with like Z Reflect, he is still able to escape though, right? Like, so we're not fully true strung into here, but you know, if he tried to super dash for some reason, he is going to get sniped out by that Guldo just like he would have been before. The more terrifying implication is, of course, to when you are getting to the quarter circle versions of these assists. and you have Purple Comet giving you full lockdown on it. Like, that's absolutely insane. It's also worth mentioning for the B assist that apparently there was a bug removed where there was an issue where only one member of the Ginyu Force would appear under certain conditions. Apparently that's been taken care of. I understand that there was something else that I think got bugged and patched out with 1.41. If there's a Ginyu player out there who could update this on any new bugs that are involved with any of these assists, do let us know in the comments below. Lastly, they increased the block stun on his C assist. It was a 55 frame block stun assist before, so one of the higher ones for sure in the game. Lastly, of course, the C assist block stun increase looks like this. 5 more frames, so instead of it being 55 frames of lockdown, it's 60. Kind of just there to say we buffed it, I suppose. You're likely running his A or his B assist, since the A assist is going to give you sufficient lockdown, and I mean, B assist is just absolutely cracked with all the buffs it's received over the years. Well, what I was hoping for in this patch from Ginyu was for him to get a couple of nerfs in a few spots, namely the hit stun on Birder, just allowing Birder to combo you for free, allowing Ginyu to just sit there, but as we've seen, that hasn't changed whatsoever. So Ginyu has Terrifying Neutral, he now has the ability to also force plus unblock situations, get out free summons, his combo damage has been increased, the utility of various summons has been increased, and there's some buffs like I do genuinely appreciate here, but like, when's enough gonna be enough, Bandai? Like, this man was a menace in the previous patch, and honestly, I'm kind of the opinion that Ginyu is a top 3 character in this patch. I mean, he just offers so much utility now, and the reason that you don't really see a lot of people play him is that, you know, it's Ginyu. Who really wants to play as Ginyu? And he is a bit more of a technical character in Dragon Ball FighterZ because you got to be keeping track of what your summons are at a given moment so that you're able to properly manage them. You have to be knowing what version summons there are, but once you get the setups down, once you get past that area of execution, he is an incredibly, extremely rewarding character that now has some of the best utility in the game as well as a support character too. I mean, I would not be surprised if he makes a lot more top 8 appearances, but I also would not be surprised because just there's not really a lot of people who want to play as Ginyu. And it's like, Bandai, I need to see some nerfs in the future, I would argue, because the man already has plenty. He's got real Super Dash mix-ups with the buff 2M. He's got, you know, all of this crazy shenanigans going on here right now. He has some of the best calls in the game. I mean, this dude is absolutely cracked. I remember when the game started, you kind of felt like your goal was to pass on the body swap Ginyu to the opponent to nerf them. Why would you want to give them a nerf version of a top 3 character? Like, you're playing with Ginyu on your team. You should want to keep this guy around for as long as possible and take advantage of all of his incredibly strong tools that is there. So if y'all are looking for like a puppet character, Ginyu might be the sauciest one in this patch. He's certainly one of the strongest in this patch. And I mean, just strongest characters, period, I would argue. We'll see if anything comes of it because, again, not a lot of people want to play this character. But I think you could do a lot of winning with this character.